Here from Pikkie Greeff. Now, Pikkie, good to have you, National Secretary for the South African National Defence Union. Do you have maybe a little bit more detail about how the search is going at this particular point? A bit of reluctance from the SANDF and the team on the ground to share that with our journalists on the ground at this point.
Oh, no, good afternoon. I'm afraid, this is being kept very undercover and confidential by the Defence Force. We just know that there is a search on the go. We do know that a military helicopter has been identified to also go and assist. Very, very tight information. We do have the identity of the people that are victims of this tragedy, but obviously we're not at liberty at this stage to disclose it.
As far as you can tell where you are, were proper safety protocols, risk assessments followed strictly here during this particular patrol, or do you sense there was deviation from the norm?
I don't think there was any specific deviation from a norm. Sometimes people get into situations where they have to take a decision about something, and maybe, there's an element of misjudgment or some kind of mistake that comes in. I almost want to say it's something that could very possibly happen to anybody, probably. But I don't think we should speculate too much about it. There has to be, by law, a board of inquiry into the incident, which will then determine or try and attempt to determine the causes of this, whether protocols were followed or not. I think it's going to be a very difficult investigation, though, because there's probably, as far as we understand it, at this stage, at least, there's no eyewitnesses to describe what happened. So it's going to be a difficult one.
Yeah. How equipped are members of the SANDF in facing such hazardous conditions in terms, one, of the training, I suppose, that they undergo for such operations, but two, in terms of the equipment that they have and resources at hand to be able to navigate?
I think, this is a question of, two military policemen on patrol in their patrol vehicle. So, they're equipped as good as anybody else in that circumstances. I just think it's probably one of those tragic freaks of nature where one is suddenly, overcome by the elements, and then you simply don't have much control over a situation like that. I really do believe that is what transpired here.
Yeah. Well, the incident now, of course, is prompting questions around the effectiveness of the search and rescue operation. How would you gauge that so far? The use of the helicopter now that's being identified and that's going to be sent, and I suppose the expertise that have been deployed on the ground so far.
No, look, the SANDF and the other authorities involved have fairly good rescue teams. I'm quite proud of the SANDF's rescue personnel and emergency personnel as well. They do a stunning job, and I think we should give them space to do that. It's very difficult circumstances, as the reporter described there. It's not that easy a task to execute when you're looking for a person who has maybe drowned, especially in the wild. And we must also, take into account that is very wild area. There is still a lot of wildlife there, crocodiles, hippopotamus, all kinds of dangers lurking. I think we can safely believe that the rescue teams are doing their best, and they are good men and women, skilled at what they do. And let's see if they can resolve the situation.
Now, of course, you are saying a more in-depth probe is going to have to be undertaken here. But as Sandu, do you believe that that particular probe might prompt a review of operational protocols in terms of safety standards?
Well, one would hope so, because obviously to answer that in detail would mean that we'd have to speculate about what actually happened. But, and I'm just going to hypothetically say, let's say, for instance, that the inquiry uncovers that perhaps we need to make part of training, the risks of going through a flooded river or a river that seems a bit dicey, that there's a certain protocol that now will have to be implemented and followed by everyone. That might be one of the outcomes of such inquiry. And that's why these inquiries are so useful. It is not only to determine what the cause was, it's also to try and prevent a reoccurrence in future.